Hi everyone, welcome to the UTS Student Insight series. I'm Dejana and today I'll be sharing my experiences with you all and answering any questions at the end. So before we begin, I'd like to do an acknowledgement of country. I'd like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Aurora Nation upon whose ancestral lands I'm located in. I would also like to pay respect to the elders, both past and present, acknowledging them as the traditional owners of the land. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we start. As this is a virtual event, if we do have any technical issues, please bear with us. We'll try to resolve them as quickly as possible. And if you do have any issues along the way of hearing or accessing the talk, or if something stops, just try to log in and out, and this usually resolves your issues. So throughout my talk, please feel free to pop in any questions into the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And I'll try and answer all of the questions at the end of the talk today. And if you like any questions that have already been put up, you can also just click the upvote for a question, which is just the thumbs up to indicate that you also want this question answered. Just letting everyone know that this session will be recorded. And if you have any questions or concerns about this, please feel free to contact UTS via the website at the bottom of this page. So as I mentioned, I'm Dejana and I'm a senior manager in the PwC analytics team. And today I'll be talking about my 5-year journey from studying mathematics at UTS to starting work in the PwC analytics team. So my journey started in high school, where my favourite subjects were maths and science subjects. I did physics, chemistry, and 3 and 4 unit maths. And I wasn't sure what I wanted to do for my career. So I thought, well, if I'm good at maths and I really enjoy doing it, I might as well just continue this. So I enrolled in a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics at UTS. So once I completed my bachelor, I stuck around for another year and completed an honours in mathematics and statistics. During my honours, I got an internship and worked part-time at a small insurance company called Caledon. I worked part-time during my honours in the actuarial team, where I did some reporting and statistical analysis. And then I continued to work there once I graduated my honours as well. About 6 months after that, I thought I kind of want to be in a bigger team at a bigger organisation. So I applied to the PwC analytics team, and luckily I was successful. And now, about 5.5 years down the track again, I'm a senior manager in the team. And that's a picture of my little dog there called Vookie, who's keeping me company during lockdown. So a little bit about studying mathematics and statistics at UTS. You get to do a wide range of subjects throughout the degree across different areas I've listed here. And then towards the end of your degree, you can focus in on the topics and subjects you really want to. So the first area, and one of the main ones, is statistics. And statistics is all about analysing data and trying to draw conclusions from that data and understand the results. So then there's probability, which is about understanding the chance of events occurring. So, something that's very prominent right now is, understanding what the probability of, positive COVID cases is out of however many tests were done the previous day, for example. Then there's calculus, which is an extension of what you do in high school from algebra. So you learn about limits, functions, you do derivatives and integrals. Then there's optimization. And what optimization is learning different types of methods to help you find the best possible solution where there is a range of solutions you can choose from. So think about it if you're traveling from location A to location B, and you can take many different paths to get there. But what is the path that will get you there in the least amount of time, for example? Or maybe you want to travel the least amount of kilometers. So which path do you choose? That's what optimization is about. Then there's experimental design. And that is around the design and analysis of experiments and surveys. So this is an area I really liked and continued on to study in my honours year. Then finally, during your second and third year in maths, you get to choose a sub-major. And what this means is you get to choose about 4 to 6 subjects that are part of a different faculty that you can explore. And one of those is business, which is what I chose. So I got to do some finance, economics, and accounting subjects. And then another option could also be information technology, where you learn about information systems, programming, and databases. So one of the things I really enjoyed about studying maths was that you really get to learn about how to problem solve and do some critical thinking. So it's not just about, opening up a textbook and memorizing definitions. You really need to understand how these things work, these, functions or algorithms and methods, and be able to apply them to different sets of data. So you're always working on a slightly different problem that has the same foundation. And this is what has really helped me in the workforce, this baseline of problem solving and critical thinking. So some tips I have if you're looking to study maths or stats at UTS is make sure you attend all lectures and tutorials. This seems like an obvious one, but it is really important because, as I mentioned, it's not really a subject where you can just memorize some definitions through a textbook. The easiest way and the best way to learn mathematics is verbally listening to people explain it to you, similar to how you actually learn in high school. Someone's explaining the concept to you and working through the problem on a whiteboard or blackboard, for example. Second tip is don't be afraid to ask questions. So just, always just put your hand up and say, ask someone to repeat something or explain it a different way to make sure you really understand the concept or, what is being taught in your lecture or tutorial. And this is also good feedback for your teachers as well. And then finally, study with your friends. So this was an adjustment for me compared to high school. So in high school for the HSC, I studied a lot independently. But what I found at university is studying in groups is really beneficial because everyone understands something different to you in a different way. So if you study in a group and you're not sure on a particular question or how to go about solving something, someone in your group of friends or who you're studying with is likely to know this and you can help each other out. So my honours year was quite different to my undergrad. So I continued to study mathematics and statistics at my honours year, but that year is 50% thesis and 50% coursework, which is just doing subjects. So my thesis topic was a comparison of methods for finding optimal experimental designs for estimation and discrimination. And you spend a lot of time focusing in on and learning the details about your topic of choice. And you get to, so you're assigned a supervisor, which you can see on my screenshot there of my thesis paper, and they help you along the way and they guide you to help you finish your thesis. So one of the fun things I did during my honours was learning to program in R, which I didn't have the opportunity to do in my undergrad. And learning R was really beneficial because it is a statistical programming language that's used in the workforce. So it prepared me for work in that way. And it helped me to find my internship as well. Another great thing was that I got to attend the Australian Mathematical Sciences Institute summer school. So I went to Newcastle University during summer for about 4 weeks, and I did two subjects there. And you meet people from all over Australia and studying all different branches of mathematics and statistics. And what that allowed me to do was reduce the number of subjects I had to do in my second semester of my honours year. Because I was working by that time, so it allowed me to spend less time at uni because I had work as well. And then I also tutored introductory statistics subjects during my honours year, which was really good because it kept my basics of statistics fresh in my mind. So if you end up doing an honours year, some tips from me are start writing your thesis early. And also, yes, it is important to get work experience during university, and I encourage everyone to do that. Make sure you leave enough time for your studies. And some ways to do that would be getting, a summer internship, or in my case, I just got an internship where I worked part-time. So there are many ways to get experience during your studies as well. And finally, that takes me to what I do now. So as I mentioned, I'm a senior manager in the PwC analytics team, and I work in the consulting space. And what I get to do through that is work on different types of projects for different types of clients. So I'm not always, running the same report every week. I get to work on all different types of data, problems, and explore really innovative ways of solving these problems. So one of the ways I, always have to keep learning on the job as well is learning new analytics tools and methods to help me solve the problems. Because as you can imagine, I'm, at work, I'm not writing out formulas, for example. I have to use different types of tools depending sometimes on what the client uses. So some of the tools that I use are Alteryx. So that's a licensed software where you can do data preparation and manipulation. Then there is, so I mentioned R, which is open source, as well as Python. Python is in some ways similar to R, where you can do, data analysis and visualizations and all sorts of different things. Then I learned SAS, which is another programming language. And then Power BI and Tableau are both data visualization tools, which do similar things where you can create interactive dashboards. So at my job, I also get to work on different clients. So I work a lot with government clients such as Transport for New South Wales and the Department of Education, Skills and Employment. And then I also get to work on some private sector clients such as IAG and AMP. So in both these cases, I worked in the insurance area. So I actually got to use some of the skills I learned at my first job, which was great to be able to use that. So some tips for me, working in the workforce as a maths and stats grad is, as a fresh graduate, try and look for a supportive learning environment in your first job. It's really important to be around supportive, people that support you learning, that have time to teach, and that encourage growth in the technical areas that you're interested in. So be confident about what you know or you might not know in the workforce. It's okay, no one expects you to know everything. So just, be honest and open and confident about what you know. So in hand with that is be proactive. When you start work, it is once again, it's different to uni. So, take your tasks and own them as your responsibilities, try and improve them, do a good job, and always just be proactive in the work you do. And finally, make sure you tell people what you're interested in, and, take that into your own hands. So, be open and honest once again, and just let people know, I want to be doing this, or I'd appreciate an opportunity in doing that. So people around you and your managers can help you go. So that concludes my talk. I'm just going to have a look at the questions that have come up in the Q&A section and go through those now. Okay, so the first question is, I enjoy maths, but don't want a 9-to-5 job sitting in front of a computer all day. What different ways can I use my maths skills? Great question. So I would encourage you, one of the different ways is probably what I do. in consulting, you get to try many different areas of work. You're not actually stuck at a computer all day 9 to 5 like you may think. So for example, last year I was working with another team at PwC that does supply chain work. And I was actually out at a hospital talking to nurses and other medical staff that work in hospitals. And I actually got to see firsthand how they do, and then relate that back to what I'm doing with working with the data and understanding the analysis. And there's probably a range of things out there that where you can do some stuff kind of firsthand, such as maybe you would have to use maths in engineering, for example. So you could be out at a construction site looking at things to do calculations for that. So there are some options if you don't want to sit at a computer all day. So what reputation? Oh, sorry, I'll scroll back up. Next question is, do you have to be really good at maths in year 12, or is it an area that you can develop more at uni? I mean, if you're good at maths and you want to do it at uni, it's definitely an advantage. I believe in a purely maths degree, you might have to do some, extra study or upskilling in some areas, because there would be a learning curve. But, never give up. If you really like maths, just continue that. And there's always extra resources at uni that can, where you can do additional studies and work on improving your math skills. Next question, is maths and statistics hard at uni? I like it, but I'm not getting 100% in all my exams. That is completely fine. I didn't, even at school or at uni, I didn't get HDs in all my subjects. There's always things you're naturally better at, or some subjects where you might not be as good at others. So that's fine. And remember, at work, you don't have to use the knowledge you learned for every single subject. So you'll probably end up pursuing something that you're really good at. How did you decide what you wanted to actually do as a career? Was there some particular event that led to you wanting to do the type of work that you do, or did you just kind of fall into it? So that probably happened when I decided. It was probably when I was interning at the insurance company. I was in an actuarial reporting team where part of my job was running monthly reports, running quarterly reports, and it was sometimes boring or tedious because it was the same thing every month. And then there was another part of my job where I would be asked by the marketing team, hey, can you look at some data for us? Can you figure out if we're getting a particular type of customer? Then there was the claims team, and they were saying, can you look at the data, because is there a trend with this type of claim, for example? And I really enjoyed that part, which led me to decide, okay, I want to try consulting, because in consulting you get to try different problems, and you get to talk to clients about their problems and have them explain their problem to you, and you help solve them. So that was the turning point for me, just getting in the workforce and just realizing what I like, and then taking that and going from there. So hi, I was wondering if I want to focus on another area of mathematics unrelated to statistics, what are the options? Yeah, of course. So there are, so on the screen where I showed the different subjects, so you can go into any of those areas. My focus was, stats and experimental design. And you could go into something like optimization, and there's an area called operations research, where you can basically work on using these optimization algorithms to solve different types of problems. One field where one of my colleagues does a lot of projects in this space is in the mining industry. They often have these optimization problems that need to be solved. So that's that's another option there. But there are many. What fields can you get into after studying maths and stats? So you can go into finance as well. I have quite a few friends at CBA. They do things like credit risk modelling. You can also continue to do research at university. So some of my friends continued on to do their PhD. One of them now is working at Silicon Valley at a tech startup. And then there's also insurance, which is a common one. What honours means. So honours is, I'm not 100% sure if it's linked to an undergraduate degree, but it is where you spend a year doing like a research project, and you do postgraduate studies there. So I did additional subjects in my honorsy, and I had to write a thesis, which is, I guess, think about it like a really big report of hundreds of pages about a particular topic. Can you combine maths with other disciplines like business management? Yes, you sure can. So when I did my sub major in finance, I got to learn about some of these applications of maths in business. There's actually a subject called, it probably still exists, called quantitative finance, where it's a lot of maths and just applied to business problems and situations. So it's definitely applicable. Sounds like your honours year was very important in developing your career. Is that true? Yes, it is, definitely. So I got to learn a lot of skills that I use in the workforce now, such as programming. So I learnt SAS and R in my honours year, which I immediately used at work. And also working more independently as well, which is something that you have to do at work sometimes. Sometimes you're on projects with lots of team members surrounding you. Other times it's, just you and someone else. So during my honours year, especially for my thesis part, it's my supervisor, which if I compare that to the workforce, it's like having a manager telling you, okay, let's do this analysis. Let me know how you go in 1 week. Try these different things. You Google them, you figure out how to do them, you fail, you succeed, and then you come back to your supervisor and say, okay, this is what I was able to do. I need your help with these things. And it is similar to the workforce. So it was very important. Do you find that working in a role that is so focused on a topic like maths and stats can be a challenge in terms of motivation and energy? For me, it isn't, because maths and stats is such an evolving area. If you're familiar with terms like machine learning, artificial intelligence, that is all the foundations of that are actually maths and stats. So you can actually do a lot with a maths and stats background. You can explore all different areas if you choose a particular one to focus in on. In my job, I do a lot of different stuff, which keeps me entertained. Or you can go the alternate route where you might want to become very, very detailed in one certain area of that, such as building an algorithm that detects cancer out of X-ray images, for example. What maths course is recommended to do maths at uni? So if you're looking to study maths at uni, so I did a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, which covers, maths and stats subjects as well. So that's the course I did, if you're interested in doing maths. Would you consider maths and statistics a future focused career?